What's up guys, Benny here and welcome to another Call of Duty Warzone video where this week we got what was one of the biggest updates to the game to date. And like always, there's a load of updates and changes to the game that they don't completely tell us in the patch notes. And that's what this video is for. I'm going to tell you all those secret changes along with tips on how you can take advantage of them to be better at the game. Also, 91.9% of you watching the channel are not subscribed. We're getting so close to getting that number to under 90%. So make sure to subscribe for more Warzone content and I'll also really appreciate it. So one of the first things that you'll definitely want to be taking advantage of is a new setting, which is your controller dead zone. Now, what this setting does is adjust your controller's thumbstick dead zone, which is the area in which your thumbstick movement in the inner zone of your controller will not be registered. This is usually in place to stop stick drift and unintentional movement with your controller, but you want to have this as low as you possibly can, as it allows you to react that little bit faster and also make those micro adjustments to land your shots more accurately. Personally, I am so glad that they've added this feature in, as I use an Xbox Elite Series 2 controller with high thumbstick tension, and I've not got any stick drift, so can be as reactive as possible. A 0.15 is a good place to start with this setting, so make sure to give it a go. One update that I was a bit gutted about is the fact that loot boxes no longer guarantee a cash drop. The amount of times I've been in a situation where I need to buy a teammate back into the game and I just ran around until I heard the sound of a loot box, and sadly there is now no guarantee that that will pay off. Personally, I don't think this change needed to be made, as it was one of the few ways to get your team back into the game when you manage to win your gulag after a squad wipe. But one update that will definitely help you out at endgame and will also change how I think a lot of people will build their loadouts is the fact that you can now drop and request guns. Before, if you brought a teammate back in at endgame, they would have to either risk going for the late game loadout drop or try to find a half decent floor loot gun. But thankfully, you can now, by pressing down on your D-pad and scrolling across to your gun, can drop it on the floor for your teammate to pick up. So you'll probably want to start running the assault rifle SMG combo as your loadout. So if needed, you can always give your teammates a solid weapon to use. I tend to run the Growl MP5 build all the time now, meaning I could drop my teammate either the Growl or MP5 at endgame, whatever they're more comfortable with. I'd be way more likely to pick up the win. So if your teammate is without a gun, make sure to give them your secondary with the ammo. Something I've also noticed is that you can no longer complete scavenger contracts in such a fast period of time, because loot boxes are now sadly a little further apart than they used to be whilst completing a scavenger, which especially early game can make them a little bit more risky to complete, as you're likely going to run into multiple squads, though you do at least get that new armor satchel so you can hold 8 armor plates for completing it. Though this was in the patch notes, I thought it'd be worth mentioning you no longer get a gas mask from completing a scavenger, so there are going to be less gas masks on the map, so it might be worth making it an early purchase from now on from the buy station. Also, this is another neat little trick which is probably not intentional but is useful all the same. If you hold your heartbeat sensor as you enter/leave the gas, you don't do the animation of taking the gas mask off and on, so whipping out your heartbeat sensor is a lot quicker and could probably save your life in those sort of situations. In this update, they also made a slight change to the self-revive, where you'll instantly have full health when you get back up, which means you can get straight back into the gunfight or at least take an extra bullet or two whilst trying to get away, as there was nothing more annoying than getting off your self-revive and then going straight back down to a single bullet. So you now have that trade-off in-game where someone can finish off your revive for you, but you don't instantly get full health. Or you finish it off yourself, lose the self-revive, but get full HP the second that you're back up. Though there is a slight issue with this at end circle at the moment, as if you self-revive in the gas, your health actually drops slower than when you're not self-reviving. This could lead to a huge advantage if the match ends up in a heal off and you just tap your self-revive. This probably get changed, but something to take advantage of right now. Loot boxes have also got a bunch of new loot in them to add to the current loot rotation, including the brand new MK9 Broyen, which I'm actually loving right now. It's a bit of a pain to unlock for your custom loadouts unless you've got multiplayer and are playing on shipment, as killing people near smoke grenades isn't actually the easiest thing to do. But if you see it pop out of a loot crate and don't have your custom loadout yet, definitely give it a go. The build's pretty mobile for an LMG and can hold its own against most assault rifles, especially in such a big battle royale. Another neat little update that they made and didn't tell us about is that when you're aiming down sights now, pings become a little bit transparent, so you can actually see what's on the other side. I'm telling you, Infinity Ward are listening to our feedback. The amount of times that I'd just be asking my teammates to unping all the time so I could see was constant. Now, I don't have to, so it's a change that I'm very happy about. Another useful feature they've added with the ping system is that you can now ping ammo crates within buildings like the police stations. So if you've got teammates that are newer to Warzone, you can point them in the right direction to get some extra ammo. Not the most useful thing for experienced players, but a nice small update all the same. Another small update that Infinity Ward has added to Warzone is before you go into a game, the option to fill your team or not with random players is now directly under the playlist rather than being at the bottom of the screen, so a little easier to find. Next, we have an update to Warzone that used to be only in Plunder, and that's the announcer telling you when someone is landing near you with a parachute. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of this, as it stops you from being able to sneak attack an enemy squad and have a chance when you only have a pistol when you come back from the gulag. With this update, you're probably just going to get lasered out of the sky, so try to avoid going anywhere near an enemy squad when you're parachuting back in. But for those wanting to take advantage of this, it'll clearly tell you when an enemy soldier is inbound. When that happens, you're going to want to be looking upwards towards the sky and start shooting. Though one thing you're going to love if you constantly play with friends is that we got an update to the Leave game UI where it'll clearly tell you who the party leader is, so you don't have that awkward moment where you forget who the squad leader was and then have to go through the process of inviting everyone back into a game because you're the one that left. It's a small update, but I think Infinity Ward are doing a really great job of refining Warzone, making it the best game that it possibly can. And another example of Infinity Ward listening to the community is there was a big uproar when bounty contracts were replaced in the game by Most Wanted, because I felt at least it really messed with the flow of the overall match, as bounties stop players from hiding to the final circles, as there's a chance that they'll get hunted by a fully geared squad, so helps make everyone get involved in the fight. So because of the community feedback, bounty contracts have been put straight back into the game, and Most Wanted have been removed for the time being. It'll be interesting to see how new contracts are added moving forwards, but it'd be nice to see different types of objectives added into the game for different types of rewards, so we'll see what happens. Next, another update that wasn't talked about in the recent Call of Duty Warzone update was that shield turrets no longer appear on the map when placed down. Personally, I still think they're useless, other than for blocking an entranceway or to stop vehicles on a road. They don't deal anywhere near enough damage when you're forced to stand perfectly still, where a good sniper or assault rifle player is just going to take you down straight away. Really feel this streak either needs to get replaced or buffed. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Next, in the patch notes earlier in the week, we were told trucks are now weaker in solos and had been re-added. Well, they're actually weaker in trios and quads as well, and are pretty easy to blow up in comparison to the Terminator trucks that we had at launch. So bear that in mind when moving from point A to B. If you don't have a trophy system on your truck, keep an eye out for players that could potentially hit you with a C4 or a rocket, as they'll end up wiping you and your entire squad super quickly. And finally, I wanted to talk about the red access key card that a lot of you may have been finding in legendary crates. By the looks of it, it's going to be the start of the Easter egg to get into the locked bunkers that are dotted around the map. There was also a load of other information found in the game's files that even showed the animation of the bunker doors opening, along with sound files of the doors being opened. Sadly, by the looks of it, the key card currently does nothing, but we'll likely start getting access to the bunkers within the next month or so, with whatever sort of event that Infinity Ward and Activision has planned. Personally, I'm really excited and can't wait to see what they potentially put together. So there we have it, 17 secret updates that weren't in the patch notes earlier in the week for you to take advantage of. these may not be all the changes, so please do make sure to let me know if you find anything else down in the comments below. And if you're new, subscribe for more Warzone content and let me know what you want to see more of in the future. Also, I'll be doing my first YouTube live stream very soon, so turn on that bell notification so you don't miss it. Smash that like button and I'll see you next time.